Good morning, almost afternoon. Hey everybody. Everyone keeps asking why I'm wearing loose clothes, so I wore a non-maternity dress today to show you that, yes, we are getting very close to meeting our little girl. Just giving you a weather update. For the time being, y'all, it is still ridiculously warm out there. It doesn't look like visibility is down like it was earlier in some locations. At this point, the fog, for the most part, has lifted up, but still kind of overcast conditions. Now, the clouds are going to start to break up here shortly. The sun will be back out this afternoon, and yes, we'll be warming up to about 80 degrees once again, similar to the past couple of days. If you can hear it in my voice, yes, it is the cedar, I think, that has gotten me going. We were also in the yard all weekend, and we have a lot of weeds starting to try to pop up ahead of spring with these warm conditions we've been dealing with. But yeah, it's the cedar, I think, that's gotten me. My allergies all riled up, and so many people that I know are saying the same thing right now. When we have a southerly flow this time of year, oftentimes that can happen, and essentially there's so many cedar trees down in the Texas Hill Country. Those winds will kind of pick it up and bring it into central and north Texas. So that's what we're dealing with right now. But live lookout over Clean. You can see those winds are up out of the south once again at about 10, gusting up to 15, 20 miles an hour at times over the next few days. When we have winds out of the south, basically now to spring, a lot of times in the warm conditions, you're going to see breezy conditions. It's, we don't have usually winds out of the south at like 0.5 miles an hour. They're going to be up a little higher as we approach spring a lot of days. Now it is 70 degrees right now. We only bottomed out area wide in the 60s, which of course is very warm for this time of year. First week of February, we're going to roll into the 80s once again. So just very unusually warm, like 20 degrees above where we're typically situated this time of year. Humidity is definitely still up, even though I just notated that most of us are not seeing the thick fog at this time. It is now 10:36. Current temperatures situate most of the viewing area, upper 60s, low 70s, including our central and southeast counties. Now, I do want to notate something. We have an interesting thing going on, a little bit of an odd situation. A cold front has entered our very far northwestern quadrant, including Comanche Brown counties. You can see they're sitting at 50 degrees, and they have a northerly wind. So the front has essentially stalled out right here where I'm drawing a line from basically just north of Hillsboro to Meridian to Hamilton, Comanche Brownwoods. You can see they dropped 20 degrees. The rest of our viewing area is not going to do that because the front is competing with that warm Gulf air and that southerly flow that is, it's pretty potent. This front isn't very strong. Essentially, it is going to stall out, linger in our central counties, and then pop right back up. It's not going to make its way through the whole viewing area is what most models have been telling us for the past couple of days. But it is kind of the story of the day because we have this quiet weather pattern, right? You can see the 24-hour temperature change showing that front and exactly where it's at currently situated. Again, it's not going to blast through the viewing area and all of us see this big dramatic drop temperature-wise into this afternoon. We are still going to go up to nearly 80 degrees most of the viewing area. But winds out of the north, Comanche, Brownwood, everyone else out of the south throughout the rest of the morning. And then the clouds will start to try to break up into this afternoon when we hit our high temperatures. Again, it's all about this cold front that is essentially going to be stationary as it competes with the warm, humid air. That cooler, drier air is going to struggle to reach our southern counties into this afternoon and in the overnight hours tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how far south it actually makes it in the coming hours. As you can see, I wanted to point at some of these cloud structures here, starting to see in the Brazos Valley a clearing trend, and that should make its way north here in the coming hours. Hour by hour planner, excuse me, and this is pulling in data for Temple Waco areas, so our central counties touching 80 degrees, and you see wind still out of the south. So this particular model is pulling in this data, is telling us that front is not going to make its way into our central and southern counties. At some point it is going to stall out, and we're not going to see that drastic drop as the cold front moves through. So we'll see how far south it makes it. We're back in the 70s and then eventually 60s in the overnight hours tonight. It's not just our high temperatures being impacted this week. Our lows in the 60s, very, very warm. I mean, we typically don't see that until, I would say, late April or so. Early May, we're seeing temperatures like what we're seeing this week. And again, it has really got my allergies going. Excuse me. Winds gusting, as you can see. I keep talking about this cold front that's going to stall out. I like this map right here because it shows you winds out of the north and our northern counties, winds out of the south, like we've been seeing in the southern half of our viewing area, and then that front essentially stalls out. Everyone wakes up to windier conditions for your Wednesday forecast. The elevated fire weather risk will go up slightly because we're not only going to have windier conditions than what we've been seeing, but drier as well. The humidity is going to start to go down. Now, we could still see patches of fog Wednesday morning, but it doesn't look like it's going to be humidity quite as high as it has been both this morning and yesterday morning. So when the humidity starts to go down, we have winds out of the south. They're up. Temperatures are warm. You're going to start to see that fire weather risk. And a lot of times it is worse to the west, especially as we approach spring. And that's going to be the case. The big country, West Texas, down in the Big Bend area, all going to be under a fire weather risk for grass fires to be popping up over the next few days, especially starting tomorrow until that front makes its way south this weekend. And then we have slim chances for rain after that. So winds will be up tomorrow for sure, gusting over 20 miles an hour. Because they're out of the south, it's probably going to make the cedar fever worse. Just letting you know right now, I don't think anything's going to change about that in the coming days. Excuse me, it is really affecting me today. You can see we go into Thursday and we're still gusting up and potentially even over 20 miles an hour. Winds are going to stay out of the south until that strong front gets here over the weekend. So now I'm going to translate this discussion to the back half of the forecast. Again, if you're just tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, or 6 Plus, welcome. I'm just doing a weather update. Going to let you know, update on the timing of this strong cold front that will be here. Yes, over the weekend and the next couple of chances for rain. Now, until then, we're going to continue this quiet weather pattern. Futurecast shows that front that has now entered Comanche-Brown counties is going to stall out somewhere across our viewing area in the coming hours. And it's not going to make its way across the viewing area. So we're not going to see a temperature drop really, with the exception of our far northwestern counties that already saw a drop this morning. You can see in the overnight hours, I wanted to pause right here on purpose. That front that tried to make its way down today is going to be what we call stationary, where we have the warm, humid air coming up from the Gulf. We have the dry, cooler air coming down from the north. They basically collide, start to compete with each other. Sometimes the front makes its way through. A lot of times it does. This is not the case with this one early this week. Now, the other front that I'm going to tell you about is going to be over the weekend, and it is definitely going to make its way across Texas and basically usher winter, which, yes, we're obviously still in, about halfway through. It will be back into early next week, at least for a few days. You could see lots of upper 70s, low 80s for the rest of the work week. It is going to remain quiet and very, very warm. I think our average high is something like 61 degrees, and we're more like 81 until Friday, Saturday. That is now the front is going to make its way down from the north, of course, over the weekend. Let's pause and show you potential timing on this. It has moved up slightly. Yesterday morning when I did this update, it was moving through, excuse me, Sunday or Monday. Now it's looking like Saturday. If you're headed up to DFW, it could be earlier in the day on Saturday, so they may not hit as high of temperatures as a lot of our viewing area is going to be in the 80s again Saturday, depending on this frontal timing and if it changes at all. You can see winds are going to be up out of the south as we wake up Saturday. By that night, the front is here. We wake up Sunday cooler, essentially, but expect and anticipate for a breezy weekend. Expect for it to be significantly cooler on Sunday versus Saturday because of the frontal timing moving up. And then we have slim chances for rain. So right now, when you see these big blobs like this and it's just this huge area of green, this is when models are further out. This is when we're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 plus days out. You're going to see these blobs here, which is showing, yes, a chance for rain. Way too early to tell you exact timing, exact location, and amounts. It's just saying, yep, looks like there's going to be some moisture in the area. You may hear my phone right now. Someone's calling me. It will stop in a second. So especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I would say right now we're going to put it at about 20-30% at most. You'll see those rain chances go up if models start to agree there's going to be enough moisture in these areas. So just in the coming days, watch those rain chances because they may end up going up. But for right now, we're just going to put isolated showers. Possible Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. You can see Monday we wake up, we still have a northerly flow. We have moisture in the air. Likely we end up bumping probably, I would say, Monday PM into Tuesday AM. It's looking like potentially we have rounds coming through that the models are starting to agree there's a little bit greater of a chance. I bet you we end up upping these rain chances into Monday and Tuesday slightly. Sunday may stay at just 20%. But again, it's too early to tell. This is the very back end of the 7-day forecast. Just notating, weather pattern, it is going to shift. The front will get here, and it likely will be Saturday night for our portion of Texas, northern Texas, more like earlier on Saturday. So Saturday will be warm, breezy out of the south. Sunday will be significantly cooler, and then Monday even colder than that, more like the norms for this time of year. 7-day forecast does show 80s, 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 as you can tell, and then boom, cold front over the weekend. We roll into early next week with some rain chances and much cooler weather in store, looking like 50s Monday for highs. So that's more close to where typically we are situated in the month of, especially the early portions of February. So I'll continue to update you on these both precipitation chances, but especially how cold potentially we're going to get into early next week. Thanks.